The white couple had always wanted to be parents. After many years of trying to have their own children, they decided to adopt. They believed that every child deserved a loving home. So when they met the two black children at the adoption center, they felt an instant connection. The father was a kind man with dark brown hair, wearing a sky blue shirt that day. The mother was gentle, with blonde hair and a simple white shirt. They held hands tightly as they looked at the kids. The little girl wore a soft pink dress that matched her bright smile. Her brown hair was tied in two small ponytails. Her brother stood beside her, shy but curious, wearing a clean white shirt and his short black hair neatly combed. The children had been waiting for a family for a long time, and meeting this couple gave them hope. At first, everything seemed perfect. The couple brought the kids home and showered them with love and care. The house was filled with laughter and new memories. The parents learned to cook meals the kids liked, played games with them, and helped with schoolwork. The couple was proud and happy. But as days turned into weeks, the challenges started to appear. The kids began to show signs of confusion and discomfort. They looked different from their parents, and people outside didn't treat them the same. The mother noticed the girls sometimes looked down when they walked outside. The father saw the boy hesitate when meeting new people. Family gatherings became difficult. Relatives whispered about how different the kids were. Some said the children would never truly belong. This hurt the couple deeply, but they refused to give up. They told themselves, love is all that matters. However, the children found it hard to open up. They struggled to explain how they felt. The girl once said quietly, "They don't understand me." The boy nodded, his eyes avoiding theirs. The couple realized that being parents was more complicated than they thought. The father, always patient, tried to comfort the kids. He sat with them after school, asking about their day. But when the kids talked about things like school bullying or feeling left out, the couple didn't know how to help. The mother tried reading books about race and culture, hoping to understand better, but it still felt like a wall between them. One afternoon, the boy came home from school with tears. A group of children had called him names. The father hugged him tightly and said, "I'm here for you." But the boy whispered, "It's not the same. You don't know how it feels." The girl also shared her feelings. "Sometimes I wish I looked like you. Then I wouldn't feel so different." The mother's heart broke hearing this. She promised to always support them, but feared she couldn't fix the pain the kids carried. Slowly, the parents realized that love alone was not enough. They had to understand the struggles their children faced every day. The couple started searching for ways to connect deeper with their kids' world. They talked to other adoptive parents who raised children of different races. They joined online groups to learn about cultural identity and racial challenges. Despite the difficulties, the couple never stopped fighting to keep their family together. They wanted the kids to know that no matter what anyone said, they belonged in this home. The parents tried to show through actions, not just words, that their love was real and strong. The kids, too, began to see the efforts their parents made. Even though it was hard, they started to feel safer sharing their feelings. The journey was just beginning, but the family was determined to face it together. This story shows how adoption is not always simple. Especially when families come from different races and backgrounds. It takes patience, understanding, and courage. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair were learning how to love their black kids. A little girl in pink and her brother in white, not just as their children, but as individuals with their own struggles. As the children grew older, their feelings about the family started to change. The little girl in the pink dress with her soft brown hair and her brother in the white shirt, with short black hair, began to feel the weight of the world outside their home. School was not easy for them. Sometimes other children stared or whispered when they walked by. Sometimes they were left out of games or conversations. These moments hurt deeply. The white father, still wearing his usual calm expression and his sky blue shirt, tried to protect them. He would ask the kids how their day was and listen carefully. The white mother, with her blonde hair and white shirt, also tried to make their home a safe place, filled with love and understanding. But the children felt something was missing. One evening after dinner, the girl suddenly said, "Mom, Dad, you don't really understand what we go through." Her voice was quiet but firm. The boy nodded beside her, his eyes fixed on the floor. The couple was silent, shocked by the honesty. They had thought love was enough to bridge every gap. The children explained how they felt different not only because of their skin color, but because of the way people treated them. They told their parents about being called names at school and how sometimes even teachers did not see their struggles. They felt like they were trapped between two worlds, the family that loved them and the society that judged them. The father looked at his son and daughter, wanting to say something that would make everything better, but he couldn't find the right words. The mother wiped a tear and hugged them close. She realized that understanding wasn't something she could learn from books alone. It had to come from listening and accepting the kids' experiences. The next day, the couple made a decision. They started researching more about the children's culture and history. They read stories about Black families, struggles, and celebrations. The parents wanted to understand the world their kids came from so they could support them better. At school, the kids joined a few after-school clubs, hoping to find friends who shared their background and experiences. The girl started to attend a dance class that celebrated her culture's music. The boy found a sports group where many kids looked like him. These activities gave the children the sense of belonging they had been missing. At home, the parents asked more questions, trying to learn without judgment. Sometimes the kids would share stories from school or their feelings. Other times, they stayed quiet. The parents understood that patience was key. One afternoon, the boy told his parents about a hurtful moment when some classmates excluded him because of his skin color. The father held his hand and said, "We are proud of you. You are strong." The mother promised to speak with the school to make sure the kids were safe and respected. Slowly, the family started to grow closer in a new way. The parents were no longer just protectors. They became learners too. The kids felt more comfortable sharing their lives, knowing their parents were trying to understand. Even with progress, challenges remained. The couple knew they could never fully live the children's experience, but they wanted to stand beside them through every difficulty. The kids learned that home was a place where they could be themselves, without fear or judgment. This part of their story shows how hard it can be for families to navigate differences in race and experience. The white father, wearing his sky blue shirt, and the white mother with blonde hair and a white shirt, were discovering what it truly meant to support their children. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in his white shirt were beginning to find their own voices and places to belong. This journey was not easy, but it was full of hope. The family was learning to heal together, one step at a time. After realizing how much the kids were struggling, the white couple knew they had to do more. The father, still in his sky blue shirt, and the mother, with her blonde hair and white shirt, wanted to help their children feel truly understood. They knew that love was not just about care, but also about learning. The parents began to reach out for help. They found a local community center that offered programs for families with children from different backgrounds. The center held events to celebrate Black culture, history, and achievements. The couple thought this could be a good way to connect with the kids' world. One Saturday, the family attended their first event together. The kids were nervous at first, but excited too. The girl wore her favorite pink dress, and the boy was dressed in a white shirt. There were music, dance, and stories being shared. The couple watched closely, seeing how their children's faces lit up. The mother asked questions, listened to stories, and even tried to dance along with the kids. The father spoke to other parents who had similar experiences. The family began to feel a little closer, and the kids felt their parents' genuine interest. After the event, the children talked more openly about their feelings. The girl said, "It feels good to be with people who understand me." Her brother nodded and smiled. The parents felt a new hope rising in their hearts. At home, the couple created new routines. They started reading books written by Black authors, cooking meals from different cultures, and watching films that showed the lives of Black families. These activities helped the children feel proud of their heritage. But even with these changes, the road was not always smooth. Sometimes the kids still felt misunderstood or frustrated. The boy once said, "I don't want to explain myself all the time." The parents understood that learning and healing would take time. To help with communication, the couple hired a family counselor who specialized in cultural differences. The counselor helped them talk openly and honestly about their feelings without fear. The sessions gave the family tools to understand each other better. One evening during a counseling session, the girl shared a story about a day at school when she was left out of a group project. The parents listened quietly, offering comfort and support. The counselor guided them to respond with empathy rather than frustration. The boy also talked about times he felt angry or sad but didn't want to show it. The father told him it was okay to feel those emotions and that he was proud of him for sharing. The mother added that they would always stand by their children no matter what. Through these talks, the family grew stronger. The parents learned that understanding their children's struggles was a continuous journey. They accepted that they might make mistakes, but were willing to keep trying. Outside the home, the children felt more confident too. They began to speak up for themselves at school and in their community groups. The girl enjoyed her dance classes more, and the boy found friends who respected him. This part of the story shows the real efforts a family makes to overcome challenges of race and identity. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair were no longer just protectors. They were students of their children's lives. The girl in pink and her brother in white were learning to trust their parents more. The family knew their journey was not finished, but they had taken important steps toward healing and connection. Their story reminds us that love grows when we open our hearts and minds to understand each other better. As time passed, the children began to find their own places in the world outside their home. The girl, wearing her pink dress, started attending a dance class that celebrated Black culture and music. The boy, dressed in his white shirt, joined a local sports team where many kids looked like him. These new activities helped the kids feel more connected to their own identity. They met friends who shared similar experiences and understood the challenges they faced. At school, they still sometimes faced hard moments, but having these new spaces gave them strength. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and a white shirt saw how much their children were changing. They wanted to support these new experiences. The parents asked questions, showed interest, and sometimes even joined in the events. One day, the kids invited their parents to a community cultural festival. The family walked together through colorful stalls, listened to music, and tasted food they had never tried before. The parents felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, wanting to make the kids proud, but also aware of how different this was from their own upbringing. At the festival, the children introduced their parents to their new friends. The parents listened carefully as the kids shared stories and laughed. For the first time, the family felt a stronger connection, not just as a family, but as part of a community. The mother said, "Thank you for sharing this with us. We want to learn more every day." The father nodded, adding, "We may not fully understand everything yet, but we are here with you." Back at home, the family talked more openly about race, culture, and identity. The parents admitted that they still had much to learn, but their children felt proud that they were trying. The kids shared books, music, and movies that were important to them. The couple also made efforts to educate their friends and relatives. They spoke about their children's experiences and asked others to be more open-minded. Sometimes this caused arguments, but the parents stood firm, knowing they had to protect their family. Even with progress, the kids sometimes felt frustrated. The boy once said, "It's hard to feel part of two worlds." The girl added, "Sometimes I don't know where I belong." The parents listened without trying to fix everything right away. They knew these feelings were part of growing up. To keep communication open, the family continued counseling sessions. These talks helped them face difficult emotions and misunderstandings. The counselor reminded them that love was not always perfect, but it could grow stronger with effort. Slowly, the children's trust in their parents deepened. They felt safer sharing their fears and hopes. The parents learned to be patient, to listen more than talk, and to accept their children as they were. This part of the story shows how a family can grow together through challenges. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and white shirt were learning not only about their children's struggles, but also about their culture and strength. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in the white shirt were finding pride in who they were, with the support of a family willing to walk beside them. Their journey was far from over, but they had taken important steps toward understanding, acceptance, and love. This story reminds us that family is about more than blood. It's about being there for each other, no matter the differences. The white couple kept working hard to understand their children's world better. The father, in his sky blue shirt, and the mother, with her blonde hair and white shirt, had come a long way. They now attended many cultural events with their kids and learned more every day. One afternoon, the children invited their parents to a special gathering at the community center. This event focused on stories from Black families about their struggles and successes. The girl in her pink dress was excited to share this with her parents, and her brother in his white shirt felt proud too. At the event, the parents listened carefully to the speakers. They heard stories about racism, discrimination, and the strength it takes to overcome challenges. The mother's eyes filled with tears, and the father nodded quietly. They felt both sadness and determination. After the gathering, the children talked openly with their parents. The girl said, "Now I see why it's hard for us sometimes. It's not just about us. It's about a bigger history." Her brother added, "Thank you for coming with us. It means a lot." The couple realized their journey was more than just raising kids. It was about understanding a history and culture different from their own. They wanted to do more to support their children's identity and help others understand too. At school, the parents spoke with teachers to raise awareness about the kids' experiences. They asked for better support for children facing discrimination. The teachers listened and promised to work harder. The kids felt hopeful that change was possible. Back at home, the family continued to grow closer. The parents and children shared more stories, laughter, and sometimes tears. The couple understood that listening was more important than trying to fix everything quickly. One day, the boy said, "Sometimes I still feel like I don't belong anywhere." The father took his hand and said, "We will always be your family, no matter what." The mother added, "Your feelings matter, and we want to help you find your place." The girl smiled and said, "I love that we can talk now." It wasn't easy, but it feels better. The parents felt proud but knew there was still work ahead. They continued counseling sessions to keep the lines of communication open. The counselor helped them share their fears, hopes, and frustrations safely. The family learned that healing takes time and patience. Outside their home, the children grew more confident. They joined clubs, made friends, and stood up for themselves when needed. The parents cheered them on at every step, proud of their strength. This part of the story shows how families can grow stronger by facing hard truths together. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair were no longer strangers to their children's world. The girl in pink and her brother in white were learning to be proud of their identity with the love and support of their parents. Their journey was still ongoing, but each day brought new hope and understanding. This story reminds us that family is about walking together through challenges, learning, and loving no matter the differences. The white couple had come a long way in understanding their children's world. The father, in his sky blue shirt, and the mother, with blonde hair and a white shirt, were learning every day how to support their kids better. They knew it was not easy for the children to grow up between two very different cultures. One evening, the boy in his white shirt sat quietly in the living room. He looked at his parents and said, "Sometimes I get angry because people don't see me for who I am." The girl, wearing her pink dress, nodded. She said, "They think we don't belong even though we do." The parents listened closely. The mother reached out and held her daughter's hand. The father smiled softly at his son. They knew these feelings were real and deep. They had to find better ways to help their kids heal. The family decided to spend more time with other families who faced similar challenges. They joined a support group where parents and children talked openly about race, identity, and belonging. The group shared stories of pain but also of hope and strength. At these meetings, the couple learned new ways to talk with their children. They understood how important it was to let the kids express their feelings without fear. The parents also found comfort in hearing from others who were on the same journey. The children enjoyed meeting friends who looked like them and shared their experiences. The girl loved sharing dance moves she learned, and the boy enjoyed playing sports with his new teammates. These activities helped the kids feel proud of their heritage. At home, the parents worked on creating a safe and loving space. They put pictures of important Black leaders and cultural symbols on the walls. They read books and watched films together that showed the beauty of Black history. This helped the children feel more connected to their roots. One day, the boy said to his father, "Thank you for trying to understand me." The father smiled and replied, "We are learning together. I may never know everything, but I will always be here for you." The mother added, "We love you just the way you are." The family also talked more about difficult topics. Sometimes the kids shared stories about moments when they felt judged or left out. The parents listened without interrupting, showing that their feelings mattered. This built trust and helped the family grow stronger. Even with progress, there were still hard days. The girl sometimes felt tired of explaining her feelings, and the boy sometimes wanted to hide his pain. But the parents never gave up. They kept working on their relationship, knowing that healing takes time. The family continued counseling sessions to help them communicate better. The counselor helped them learn to listen and support one another. These talks gave the kids a safe place to share their fears and hopes. Outside the home, the children became more confident. They stood up for themselves at school and in their community. Their parents cheered every small victory and celebrated their growing strength. This part of the story shows how love and patience can help families overcome challenges. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and white shirt were learning to walk alongside their children's journey. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in white were growing proud of their identity with their parents' support. Their story is a reminder that family is about more than skin color. It is about love, understanding, and standing together no matter the struggles. The family had grown closer, but the journey was still full of challenges. The white father wearing his sky blue shirt and the white mother with her blonde hair and white shirt continued to learn how to support their children the best way they could. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in the white shirt were growing stronger every day. They started to understand that their parents were trying hard to walk beside them, even if they could not fully feel what they felt. One afternoon, the boy came home feeling upset. At school, some kids had made fun of him because of his skin color. He sat with his father, looking down, and said quietly, "Why do they always treat me like I'm different?" The father took his son's hand and said, "I'm sorry you have to go through this. It's not fair. But remember, you are strong and important just as you are." The mother joined them, hugging both kids tightly. She added, "We will always be your family, and we will face these challenges together." The children felt comforted by their parents' words, but also knew the world outside was still hard. They talked more about their feelings at home, sharing fears, hopes, and dreams. The parents listened carefully and tried not to judge or fix things too quickly. The family also worked on building a stronger community. They organized gatherings with other families from diverse backgrounds. These meetings gave everyone a chance to share their stories, learn from each other, and support one another. At one of these gatherings, the girl performed a dance she learned in her cultural class. Her parents watched with pride as she moved confidently. The boy played basketball with new friends, smiling for the first time in weeks. The white couple realized that love was about more than just being together. It was about truly understanding and supporting each other through hard times. They continued reading, learning, and growing alongside their children. The family kept seeing a counselor who helped them talk openly about difficult topics. The counselor encouraged the parents to be patient and reminded the children that their feelings were valid. One evening, the girl said, "I'm glad we can talk now. It wasn't always easy, but it helps." The boy nodded in agreement. The parents smiled, knowing that these small steps were important victories. Outside the family, the children began to stand up for themselves more. They spoke out against unfair treatment and helped others who felt different. Their parents cheered on their bravery and gave them the tools to keep going. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and a white shirt understood that the road ahead would still have bumps. But they were ready to face it together with love and determination. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in the white shirt knew they were not alone. Their family was growing stronger every day, built on trust, understanding, and respect. This part of the story shows how families can heal and grow by facing challenges honestly. It reminds us that love is patient and kind, and that being family means walking the journey together, no matter the differences. The family had faced many challenges, but they had grown stronger together. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and a white shirt had learned to listen, understand, and support their children in new ways. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in the white shirt had come a long way. They felt more confident and proud of who they were. They knew their parents loved them deeply, even if the journey wasn't always easy. One day, the family sat together in the living room. The father said, "Our family is special because we come from different places and backgrounds, but we love each other." The mother nodded, adding, "What matters most is that we stand together, no matter what." The children smiled. The girl said, "I'm proud of our family. We've learned a lot." The boy agreed, "Yes, and I know we can keep growing stronger." The parents reminded them that love and understanding take work every day. They talked about the future, how they would keep learning, growing, and facing challenges together. The family also wanted to help others who might be going through similar struggles. They shared their story with friends and community groups to raise awareness about the challenges of cross-racial adoption. They hoped their journey would inspire others to be patient, open-hearted, and willing to learn. The couple knew that every family is different, but love and respect can build bridges. At school and in the community, the children continued to grow and shine. The girl danced with confidence, and the boy played sports with joy. They stood tall, proud of their heritage and family. The parents continued to support them with patience and care. They knew that understanding was a journey, not a destination. Every step they took together brought them closer. This story reminds us that families come in many forms. It shows that love is stronger than differences. With patience, effort, and open hearts, families can overcome challenges and build a home filled with respect and pride. The white father in his sky blue shirt and the white mother with blonde hair and white shirt had fought hard to keep their family together. The girl in her pink dress and her brother in the white shirt had found their place in the world with their parents by their side. Their story is one of hope, strength, and the power of love. It shows us that no matter how hard the path may be, families can grow and heal when they walk together.